Hi, welcome back. I am so excited to be talking about one of my favorite modalities today, and that is Gua Sha. I'm going to be talking about the tools that I use and the ones that I would recommend for you. But first, before we get started, make sure that you click the subscribe button so you can keep receiving my videos. And also, if you have tried these tools or you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I love hearing from you. Okay, let's get started. But first off, I'm going to talk about what kind of things I look for when selecting a tool. One of the first things that I look for is what type of edge it has. So some of them have thinner edges and some of them have like a blockier edge. I prefer a thinner edge. I just get better results on myself and on my clients. So I would highly recommend a thinner edge when you're looking for a tool. The second thing that I look for is the shape of the tool. The shape will determine how you will hold the tools. Some of them have a longer end, some of them will fit more right in your palm. And it just makes it easier to use in different areas of your body. And I would recommend having a few different shapes, and I'll talk about that as we go. And the third thing I would look for is the material, and I find that this one is probably the most important one. Some of the cheaper materials or some of the the more synthetic materials are not going to give you as good of results as they go across your skin. You don't get the same feedback or vibration, and so that will definitely make a difference. And that will also affect how heavy the tool is. The heavier the tool is, the less effort you have to put into it, which is always nice. Okay, so let's talk about these tools. The first one you might already have at home, and it's super cheap, and it's used by a lot of Asians, and it's just a jar lid. This is just your jar lid that you get from the store. And the nice thing about this is that one, it's super cheap. Number two, it has a really nice thin edge. You just got to make sure that it doesn't have any sharp parts on it. The one drawback that I don't like about a jar lid is that it's not very heavy at all, and you don't get very good feedback as you cross the skin. So it's not one of my favorite tools, but you can definitely use it at home, and it's probably there right now. The second tool I want to talk about, I actually gave them all away because I did not like them, but they're made out of resin, and they are super cheap. They're like $5, so it's definitely a good starter tool, but it's a very light tool. The resin doesn't give you very good feedback as you cross the skin, but the shapes are okay. They usually fit really well in your hand, and it is a good starter tool, so you might want to look there. So the third tool I want to talk about is my favorite. This is a tool made out of agate. I got it when I graduated from massage school. I've had it for a while now, and I love it for a few reasons. So this thing fits perfectly in my hand. It has a great shape. It has just enough stone showing there to be able to manipulate and access the skin or access the fascia underneath. The other thing I like about this tool is that it has a really thin edge. It seems to be just perfect. I haven't actually been able to find another tool that I've liked as much. And I love the heaviness of it. And this particular stone gives a really nice vibration. I get really good results with this one in particular. So you can buy these on Amazon, and they sell them either singly like that, or you can buy them in a package. And the nice thing about the packages is that they have a bunch of different shapes, and it is nice to have a couple different shapes to access different parts of the body. So when I'm scraping, you can see how much area is available here. There's not a ton, especially if you had bigger hands, right? So it's nice to have tools like this fish-shaped one. I really like this for different areas. This is really nice for doing things like tendons and ligaments and fingers and smaller areas of the body. And also when you hold it, you're able to access deeper into the muscle. So if you're going to go into a thicker muscle like the quads or the hamstrings and they have some deep stuck fascia, this is a good tool to have as well. And also I bought another tool, kind of the same version of mine, but just a little bit thick, a little bit bigger, so that again, you can dig into deeper muscles and you just have more surface area available. There are a lot of different types of stone tools out there, and they're all going to be good tools. I had a jade one and I didn't love it as much, but a lot of people like jade, so that's kind of just a personal preference. But in general, a stone tool, you can't really go too wrong. So the one drawback on a stone tool is that if you drop it, it possibly could break, and it has. I've broken quite a few of these. So that is the one downside, but they're not that expensive. They're probably about $17 on Amazon, so it's not going to break the bank if you break it. That's just one thing to keep in mind. Okay, now the fourth tool I want to talk about is my favorite as well. And there's a couple different materials that are metal that are sold for Gua Sha, and the one I have is steel, and some are made out of titanium, but they're both really, really nice. And for one, if you drop it, it's not going to break, which is great. Also, I really, really like the shapes of these. So this tool in particular is a little bit better for a practitioner. And reason being is that when you go to scrape on your own body, see how it's kind of an awkward angle, and you can do it, but it's not my first choice. I would much rather use a smaller tool on my own upper body. And then when you get down into your lower body, there is a better tool for this. So when you're holding this, it doesn't mold to your own leg as well. So this is better when you're doing it on somebody else. I do like how it has different angles and shapes so that you can mold it to a muscle. And the really nice thing about steel is that it gives you a really nice resonation, vibration, feedback as you're going across the skin. So it can really help you to identify those areas that need it, and the body just responds better in my experience. So these steel tools are typically advertised as Graston tools. Now Graston is pretty much the same thing as Gua Sha. We do pretty much the same thing. Practitioners have kind of caught on, and they're starting to look for Gua Sha tools instead. They work, and they are significantly cheaper. So when you're looking for a steel tool, make sure you look for Gua Sha, not Graston, because you will be paying the difference of a few $100s. This tool that I got is from a company called Gua Sha Space, and I really liked this one in particular because of the edge. A lot of these tools tend to have a blockier, thicker edge, and again, I told you my preference for that. I really think this is nice, and out of all the tools that I saw, this had the thinnest edge, and it's really helped me in my practice, so I would recommend looking at that one in particular. I will put it in the description below. I'm not getting paid by this company, I just like the tool. This also comes from Gua Sha Space. This is a bar that has kind of a blockier edge here and a thinner edge here, and handles for really easy access. So this is fantastic for your legs, for your lower body, if you're going to do it on yourself. And if you're a practitioner, this works really well on arms, not so much the back, but anything that's kind of out by itself, like a limb. This is really, really handy. So if you are an athlete and you're trying to do this on yourself, this is the tool I would go for. Now this one was about $100, so it is going to be a little bit more than those other tools, but it's well worth it, and it will keep your legs stronger. That fascia from getting stuck, it helps the muscles to recover faster. It really is a thing. And so, just to review, I would get this tool if you're going to use it on yourself for your lower body. And then I would just use one of the stone tools, or you can get a smaller steel tool for your upper body area. Well, good luck. Let me know how everything goes. If you try this out, what you thought of it. Make sure that you watch the Gua Sha video on how to do Gua Sha, and we'll see you in the next video.